Hey everybody, C-Dog here, and tonight is the night of the NFL Draft. And of course, I wanted to talk about my Yellow Jackets and perhaps what players could be drafted this year. So let's take a look at it. First of all, right away, I want to talk about my favorite, and actually not a Georgia Tech player at the moment, but a former Georgia Tech player, Jamir Gibbs. My freaking man. Jamir Gibbs. I don't care if he's gone to Alabama. I don't care if he's graduated from there. He'll always be a Yellow Jacket. And look, he shouted out the Yellow Jackets and Alabama in his, NFL draft statement when he declared. So that's good enough for me. He's clearly paid respect to his old school, and, he said Georgia Tech made me into what I am today and everything like that. And we freaking love Jamir Gibbs. And I'm a huge Jamir Gibbs fan, and I'm hoping he goes in the first round. And wherever he goes, that's where I'm going to be cheering for. And so I'm looking forward to that. What team will take him? Look, I'm not an NFL guy, so I couldn't give you the particulars on what team has what need or whatever. But, any team that is in need of some offensive firepower, Jamir Gibbs is a certified weapon. He is freaking insane. And so he will probably, just because of the nature of things, he'll probably go, if he does go in the first round, he'll go late. And, of course, the general consensus is that Bijan Robinson will go ahead of him, which is ridiculous. Jahmyr Gibbs is clearly way better than Bijan Robinson, but don't get me started on that. Apparently, people think that Bijan Robinson's better. Look, I get it. Man's coached by Tashard Choice. They're two freaking Tashard Choice coached running backs there. So, they got the greatest running back coach in the country coaching them. So, hey, they're 1 and 2. So, Bijan Robinson probably go first. But if there is a team left over, they're going to be getting a freaking certified freaking weapon. And so whatever team that is, which it will be kind of nice because, we all know Calvin Johnson went, back in the day, Calvin Johnson went to the Lions and wasted his career away. So, I mean, I'm no NFL freaking expert, and I know that things change from year to year, but in general, the teams that are drafting later in the draft are pretty good teams, right? Because they finished higher in the echelon of the NFL or whatever. So, ideally, Jamir Gibbs will go to a team that's pretty good and not going to waste his freaking career away like the daggum freaking Lions did, okay? And so, hopefully, he gets put on a pretty good team. And look, wherever he goes, that's who I'm going to be cheering for because I'm damn sure not cheering for the freaking sorry-ass Falcons, okay? I already got one crappy Atlanta team breaking my heart, so I freaking can't deal with the Falcons, dude. Hey, look, when the Falcons, if they ever do get it together, I'll jump on the bandwagon for them. But for now, wherever Jamir Gibbs goes, I'm just telling you right now, that's my freaking number 1 NFL team. Jamir Gibbs is the freaking man and my favorite player in football right now. My favorite player in a long time. Moving on to actual players coming from Georgia Tech, all eyes have been on Keion White in the first round of the draft. He's been getting a lot of buzz. He's like a freak athlete. The dude's like huge. He's like 6'7" or something, and he's really fast and strong. And he, was kind of under the radar because we didn't have the best year this year at Tech. We only got 1 year out of him, out of eligibility, because when he transferred in here from Old Dominion, he like broke his leg in fall camp or whatever. So he was unable to play in the 2021 season. Only had a year of eligibility, and that was this past year. And he shined. He had a great job. For anybody that watched Georgia Tech football, like he was great. Got a bunch of sacks. He can even he was dropping back into coverage, and he was like covering receivers. It was nuts. And this is a pass rusher. So he's a very freaking skilled and talented guy. And ever since, the season has ended, he wasn't on a lot of people's radar. But as he started to go into the pro days and the camps and whatnot and the combine, he's been getting a lot of attention. So there is a lot of buzz on him being a possible first-round pick. Anybody who needs a pass rush, Keion White's your freaking guy. So that's what I'm hoping for the first round of the NFL draft, which is tonight. I'm hoping we get Jamir Gibbs and Keion White in the first round. So other than that, we do have a couple other guys going to the draft this year. We have pretty much guys that we really hate to see go, staying on the defensive side of the ball. We are losing one of the best. Look, I don't care. You can freaking joke on me. One of the best freaking linebacking duos in the entire country this past year. I'm talking like top 5 linebacking duos. These guys were insane. Charlie Thomas and Ace Ely. And if you don't watch Tech football, you don't know what I'm talking about. But because obviously we went 5-7, it is what it is, man. These two linebackers, god dang, together were freaking amazing this past year, okay? Charlie Thomas, who's been with the school forever, you know, he was a recruit, and he's really coming to his own. A veteran, experienced guy, just an absolute freaking monster. I mean, he was pretty much the quarterback of the defense, and just a freaking amazing player. And Ace Ely too. Those two were insane. Ace Ely transferred here a few years ago from Maryland. He played 2 years with us here, and them two together was an amazing combo. And so they really led the defense this past year, which the defense carried us in those games we did win because our offense and special teams were just putrid this past year. And so those guys really had their chance to shine, and they freaking have made a name for themselves. And whatever team they go to, I don't know. We'll see. You know, it's kind of thought that Ace Ely will probably go a little higher than Charlie Thomas because Charlie Thomas doesn't have quite the body type, quite the God-gifted, you know, physical nature of what you want to see in an NFL player. He's just not quite as big as he probably needs to be. Great college linebacker, but we'll see. So we're maybe, you know, 4th round or something with those two. We'll see. That'll be kind of towards the end of the draft is when we'll see them. So other than that, we have a couple guys on the offensive side of the ball, a couple receivers. We have Jenkins going to the draft. Look, Jenkins had 1 year with us. He did transfer from South Carolina from the year before, and he didn't really, you know, make a name for himself. He's super tall, and like he's freaking really tall. I think was like the tallest player on the team. Dude's freaking huge, but not exactly the best receiver. I don't know why we didn't have him at tight end. He looks like he would be great at tight end because of how freaking big he is. Still don't know why we didn't have tight end, especially at Tech, where we have been building this like tight end position from nothing. Obviously, we didn't have any tight ends when Paul Johnson took over, and we, you know, had to build that position from nothing, and it's been terrible. And it seems like we would have put Jenkins there because he's not that fast, and he was just kind of a red zone threat almost this past year. Caught a couple touchdowns, but you know, out wide, not the greatest. So I don't really know. I don't know what the thinking there was, but you know, I don't anticipate Jenkins to go very high in the draft. And then one more, we have Malachi Carter, who has been here forever. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure he broke the record, broke like Roddy Jones' record this past year for most career starts at Tech. So he's been here for freaking ever. Malachi Carter, he's done a great job at receiver, you know, been a solid guy, dependable guy. You know, I was really hoping that this past year he would kind of break out and have a year that was really special, but it didn't really happen. He got overshadowed a lot by Nate McCollum, who then freaking left to go to North Carolina. But, you know, I was really coming into this past season. Nobody really expected that from Nate McCollum. So it was kind of looked at Malachi Carter to be the guy. And turns out, well, it didn't really happen. Malachi Carter didn't have the greatest showing. So, you know, I don't expect, you know, he may or may not get drafted. Probably not. That's what I'm thinking for these two receivers that are going. So, yeah. So that's pretty much all of the Tech players of note that are going into the draft and what I think about them. You know, hopefully Ja and Keion White will go in the first round. we'll see about Ace Ely and Charlie Thomas. And then I don't know about, Malachi Carter and EJ Jenkins. But anyway, we got a lot returning next year, so a bunch of boys will get drafted here. But, I'd like to see the linebackers. I'd like to see some of these guys get drafted because that's something that, you can sell to recruits. Like, hey, look at this. We got these freaking linebackers. They kick ass, and they freaking got drafted, and it was great. So that's what you'd hope to see, and helps with recruiting and everything. So hopefully we're able to do that and build off of this, and hopefully these guys get amazing careers in the NFL. And go Jackets. I'll see you guys next time.